All right, now time for the Week 12 fantasy show. We are getting close to the end of the regular season, and these next few weeks, the matchups will be massive to determine who makes the playoff field. Looking at what happened this past week in Week 11, starting at the top with my matchup versus Tyler, and this did not obviously go the way that I was hoping for, as Tyler puts up a monster 174 to 126. Decent effort by my team, but nowhere near enough. Was highest points of the week for Tyler, so GG's to him. Big win for him to put him to 5-6. Also now drops me to 5-6. So not where I want to be in that muck fighting for possibly a chance to make the playoffs. But we are now here, Tyler, with a monster game from Joe Mixon on Monday night, but he didn't really need it as he had already wrapped it up by then. Amon-Ra with a monster game, 38 points as well. The Lions were ass raping the Jags, no surprise. The only surprise was in the second half they took forever to bench their starters, and Amon-Ra got a shit ton more points when he could have just got 20 some and been benched. Thank you, Lions and Dan Campbell. Puka Nacua also looking really good at 25 huge points, looking like a monster. As we were talking about before the show started, that trade Slaps made where he got rid of Nacua when he got hurt. It's looking to benefit Tyler now down the stretch. So dangerous 1-2 lineup there with St. Brown and Nacua at wide receiver. Also, JSN, the trade that he made for him a few weeks ago, paying off big this week, 21 huge points as well. Ingram didn't do too much. Henry did okay, so he had two tight ends. But when you get the huge games from those three receivers and a huge game from Mixon, the rest doesn't really matter. On my side, it was the complete opposite. My wide receivers, besides CeeDee Lamb, all pretty much did shit. My running backs did solid, but nowhere near the 30 and 20 some point games that Tyler's wide receivers were getting. Only bright side, I guess, was Boswell getting 25 for me, but nowhere near enough. So GG's to Tyler. He's making a big run here. We were talking all season about these teams that started out in last place or in the back. Could they have a Bill type performance of last year where they make this big run? And it looks like we have two, Slaps and Tyler, both making runs now. Tyler, your comments after this big victory, most points on the week, and going forward, what you're thinking about your team?
Well, my team is actually good. Slaps is kind of just getting lucky.
Oh,
Everyone
okay. All
realized
right.
that, but I'm still
Okay.
hoping I see him in the finals just for the storyline.
Oh,
But
okay.
like I said a few minutes ago, my team is looking super team-esque.
Oh,
Not quite
okay.
there, but
Okay.
I would think it would be hard to argue that it's not a top three lineup in the league.
I mean,
I
your
want to say
quarterback
something.
is pretty ass. Like,
Gino's been doing just okay.
I wouldn't call that super team to have Geno Smith as your quarterback.
Super team-esque.
And your second
It's the
running
really
back,
only hole.
eh, your second running back's not very good either. But I mean, your team is very
He,
solid with those really, really
since
good wide
Tracy's become the
receivers.
guy, he's averaged like 15 a win.
Yeah, I just think it's hard to rely on a Giants running back every week, but to be super team. But I mean, your team's looking really good. Anybody else want to make any
Yeah,
comments on if Tyler's team is super team-esque, as he's saying?
yeah.
Go ahead, Red.
I think Tyler has a better chance than three of these 6 and 5 teams that are not me.
Oh,
Pusa,
okay.
Okay.
Zombie,
Okay.
or
Fuck
Zach.
Wow.
you. Fuck
Okay.
you.
Wow.
I think
Big
we'll
Interesting.
see
thing is I
Tyler
have
in the playoff.
four wide receivers that are wide receiver one or close to me.
Yes, yeah, there seems to be there's like two clear options this year with the extra flex. It was either you try to go four wide receivers that are really top dogs, or you tried to go the three running backs that were really top dogs. And it seems you have the four wide receivers, and if they keep popping off, it's a hard team to beat, like this past week. Anybody
Or you
else?
go three tight ends.
Or you
So,
go three tight ends.
Shut up,
Yeah,
Bill.
Bill. I don't
so hold on, hold on.
know
Are
if
we
that's
are
gonna
we
work
really
out.
saying that he has the best wide receivers in the league?
No,
I don't think we
I
didn't say
think I think
that. We just said he's
we said
saying
he
he
has one
has
of the better
four wide
mix of
receiver
wide
ones on
receivers.
their teams.
Yeah, and I have the number one and number two wide receivers in the league.
Okay, but he has we're
Do
not
you though?
comparing that. Pooh said you're not understanding what he's saying.
Well, no, no, no. Well, Rat seemed to say that.
AJ Brown's on the top.
Okay.
I mean, he's good, but he's not
Oh, you're
currently
taking
rated
offense
top.
to him saying that Tyler's team is better than
You have
yours,
Brown and
Pusa.
Chase, but
I never
then
said it was better. I just looking at
after that,
schedules.
I
I think Tyler
I
has
mean,
a
you
better
did.
chance
You
to
said
make
he
the
has a better
playoffs.
chance, which okay.
Okay. Yeah, you haven't probably looked at my schedule then, Rat.
I have.
Really?
Gotta
Good
love
luck, boy.
Pusa. Any shot on his team, and he'll defend it to the grave.
I mean, Ramon Ra
It's
and
gonna come down to
Puka Nacua
7.
compare
It's gonna
are
come
somewhat
down to
similar
people
on
being
it.
7-7 and
Of
points.
course.
That's what it's gonna
Yeah,
come down to.
yeah. I
Yeah.
play Zombie in a bye-week shit show.
I get that, but I think you're
Bill,
not.
who might have the worst team in
All
the
right.
league.
Well, let's not go into schedule of who we're playing in the future. We'll get
I
into that
also
when
never
we
said you, buddy.
preview.
I
Anybody
said
else
3
want to
of you.
make any comments on Tyler's team or anything with this matchup before we move on?
No, I called this last week. I said Tyler had a great team, and golfers like, how are you gonna pick me?
That's
over
not what
Tyler?
happened. I
I
already
said you predicted. We
Wait,
predicted the
What
six
happened
playoff
was
teams.
you predicted
Those are
Tyler to
fucking
make the
pussies.
playoffs, but then you picked me in the pick'em, and I said, how are you going to predict Tyler to make the playoffs, but then pick me in the pick'em? So then you're like, oh yeah, you're right, so I'm going to take Tyler. So don't
Well,
act
I
like
don't
you
have
were
many
on Tyler's
options in the
side all the
pick'em.
way in this matchup.
I don't have many options in the pick'em.
Yeah, but why would you pick me in the pick'em if you think Tyler's going to win? Which is why then you changed to Tyler and picked him in the pick'em. After I made the comment of how you going to pick Tyler to make the playoffs, but then pick him to lose to me. That makes
That's
no
fair.
sense.
That's fair.
So don't try to buddy all up Tyler because
Fuck
he's here on
off.
the show.
Fuck you.
Nice try.
Are
Fuck
we
you.
talking about last week or this
Yes, we're talking.
We're
This
still
is
on
the
last
first
week. We're
matchup of
holding it
last
up.
week, me versus
week?
Tyler.
First matchup of
Yeah,
last
we
week.
just
Oh,
started about 15 minutes late because we were waiting on Bill and Pusa to join and Cheese.
Lord. Jesus,
So-
we're waiting on Pusa, and the first thing I hear is him yapping.
What?
Well,
The
he didn't
motherfucker,
like
they weren't
what
waiting
Rat
on me.
said about
I
his
checked
team.
him.
He didn't
What?
like what Rat said.
Rat's
about
missing
his
the playoffs. All right, let's keep going.
Oh,
just-
okay. Well,
okay,
moving
see,
on.
We can talk about that.
Fuck
We
you,
can talk
you
about
don't-
that.
Moving on to the
God,
second
God,
matchup
God.
of last week, we saw Rat pick up a big win over Pusa, so that probably hurts Pusa's rage a little bit. No wonder he's raging over Rat.
We needed
'cause
that win though from
he
Rat. That was a
lost.
clutch win.
Yeah,
for the
and you're
bets.
saying Rat's missing the playoffs,
Just
but
for
he
the
just
bets,
got
just
a
for the
big
bets, just
win
for the
last
bets.
week. Yes, it keeps Pusa right there with everybody, so good job, Rat. Kind of a blowout, 139 to 93. Pusa was this the lowest score of the week, I think. Yeah, everybody else scored over 100 points, and Pusa only won under 100 last week. Obviously, we all shit on the 2 Tennessee Titan running backs, and we were all right on that because they did dreadful. Devontae Adams just kind of mediocre. I mean, 7 targets, I guess, okay, but not the star-studded Adams-Rodgers connection so far this year, as the Jets have been disgraceful. Waddle with another shit game. I don't know how many weeks we got to keep seeing Waddle do nothing. Tucker Kraft dropped a donut and only got 1 target. It was really just Chase. You know, it's funny. We said last week when Chase had 55, Pusa's hyping up his team about how great. And I did make the comment that, you know, well, if you take away Chase, a lot of your other guys didn't do that great, and you had a big offense to
I
that.
scored 180
And now
points.
this week, Chase comes back down to earth a little bit, and the rest of your team didn't do shit, and you scored under 100 points. So I'm just...
Okay, but can I comment on that?
You'll get it. Yes, go ahead.
I mean, you said I scored 180 points that week. Chase went for 55.
Yes.
So that means I
yes.
would have scored what?
Like 130, 140.
Respectable score.
Yes, it was.
Respectable score.
But I was saying it was like 3 guys that put up a lot of your points last week, and you had
Which is
some
fair.
guys do single digits.
Fair.
And now
I
this
mean, my
week
gym
you
team-
had a lot more do single digits, and you didn't get to 100. So
Yeah,
on Rat's side, big game from Josh Allen. Okay games from his running backs. Really, Nico and Devontae Smith continues to be kind of a little bit of a disappointment this season. But Bowers, 31 huge points, so he's back. T. Higgins, who finally came back and played, 29 huge points. So that was good to see. He outscored Chase, which I'm sure Rat was hoping would happen. That way he could win this week. So outscoring Chase was big. Amari Cooper, though, not really settling in quite to the Bills. The injuries probably stopping him from really getting going. We'll see. Rat's going to need Amari Cooper going forward to get back to big games if he wants to make a deep run in this. I think that's kind of the key. Him and Nico getting back to full strength he's going to need. But Rat, your comments after your big win over Pusa.
Pusa team's dog shit.
Oh,
Besides Jamar Chase, AJ Brown, and Jalen Hurts, I'm not
Okay.
scared of any of
That's
those.
like
So
other-
3 of my
half of his
players.
Half the team.
Oh yeah, but I think Jalen Waddle, Devontae Adams, and his running backs are going to sell and making the playoffs.
Well, okay, to be fair,
Okay.
he had to do a waiver. Well, he's a bye week this week for the running back. So who's his other running
And
back?
for my
normally?
team, I think,
It
like you
was
said, I
Irving and
think
White.
Okay, that guy's not
Nico
bad.
Collins and Cooper
That's not
were
bad.
getting
White's
back
not
into the
bad.
groove
Hold on,
of being
let
healthier.
Rat talk. What?
Nico and Amari were just getting back into the groove, being healthier. I mean, Nico
So-
missed the last 5 games, so
Yeah.
they were being cautious with him to start.
And he did have a touchdown called
Yeah.
back, so yeah. I'm not really worried about him. I'm thinking just a little bit more concerned of Devontae Smith
Devontae
and Amari
Smith needs to
Cooper.
step it up a little.
What about Glass Body Higgins getting hurt again next week?
Oh,
He can't get hurt because he's owned by you fucking idiot.
What if he trips in his kitchen?
wow.
You might trip in your kitchen, buddy.
Okay.
All
And
right, Pusa, your comments after kind of getting blown out by Rat this week. Could have been a
Well,
big
I
win
mean,
for you to go to 7 wins.
Yes, that would have been a big win, obviously. I really kind of set myself up for failure this week in particular because I mean I had to start both the fucking Tennessee running backs. I guess I couldn't. I guess I could have started Roshan or Akers, but I mean,
Okay.
yeah, it's shit for shit there.
I remember last week in the show we did all comment on that, and you said, "Oh, they'll be fine. They'll be fine."
Yeah, that was just a dreadful game for Tennessee,
Shocker.
as Bill probably knows. But yeah, Waddle is. I don't understand. Kraft, I mean, they only had 13 passing completions that entire game. So, I mean, I'm not really reading much into that on Tucker Kraft.
Okay.
Um,
Let's get to the key
but
one,
besides
Devontae Adams.
Devontae, I mean, that's not a bad stat line compared to. I mean, it's not bad. It's not good. It's fucking average. So I'm okay with 13 points.
And he's
from
had
Adams.
one 20-point game since joining the Jets. And
The
then
Jets
he's
are fucking
gone
not good.
6,
Yeah.
9,
Plain and
9, and
simple.
13.
Yeah, plain and simple. Hopefully he rests up this bye week. They fucking get it under control. They have to win out. They're not going
Oh,
to.
they're toast. They're toast. They have no chance. They're toast.
Well, if they win out,
They're not winning out. They're
no,
horrible.
they're not. They're not.
Aaron
winning
Rodgers
out.
is
Well,
washed. I think it's time to admit he's washed. He's done. The
I'm
injuries.
never gonna admit that.
washed.
But
Well, you're just stupid if you can't at least be objective to see that he's washed.
okay. But anyway, yeah, good game, Rat. I kind of coming into this week thought that I had limited opportunity for the victory. You were due for
He's buddy.
succeed, and I was due for regression, coming off an
Okay.
180 point week. So
All right, fair. All right, anybody else make any comments on this match?
I have a question for Pusa.
oh boy,
Have
This
you
is for sure a
seen
doozy.
have you seen the comments about Woody Johnson?
I don't really buy into that. If
You don't
Woody
buy into
Johnson,
the fact that he
No.
traded for Devontae Adams when nobody else wanted to, and that he wants to bench Aaron
oh,
Rodgers?
so yeah, Aaron Rodgers didn't want to trade for Devontae Adams.
No, he overruled everyone. He made the trade when none of the coaching
Yeah.
staff wanted
You don't think
Devontae Adams.
You don't think Aaron Rodgers wanted
Wait.
to
What
trade
is
for
the
Devontae
report?
Adams?
So Rodgers wanted Devontae Adams, or Woody Johnson
No,
wanted?
Woody Johnson wanted.
Yeah.
Woody Johnson wants to bench Aaron Rodgers. He fired Robert Saleh without telling anyone.
But he
report
wanted
is
to
traded for
trade
fucking
for
Devontae
him.
false.
Adams.
So
Yeah.
Rodgers didn't
Without
want
anyone
Devontae
else.
Adams.
There's no report that Rodgers did or didn't, but
Huh.
Woody
Yeah.
Well, why
Johnson
would he-
traded
You know
for
where? Hold on. Let me speak. You know where Devontae Adams lives right now? He lives with Aaron Rodgers.
Well,
he lives in his
but
house.
my question is, why does Woody Johnson want to trade for Devontae Adams, but then wanted to bench
I
Aaron
don't know
Rodgers?
why he wants to bench
That
Aaron
doesn't make
No,
any
I don't
sense.
believe
Isn't
that
the whole
report.
point of
He said-
trading
I
for
don't
believe that
Devontae
report.
Adams because
He
you have
said-
Aaron Rodgers?
He
their
said that
history.
Tyrod Taylor gives him a better chance to win than Aaron Rodgers.
You're
I
not
don't believe that
wrong.
report.
Isn't Woody?
I don't report
I
that
mean, I
report.
don't know if that's right or wrong, but
After
Yeah,
the
this is-
Broncos
Woody
game.
Johnson
this
seems a
is
little
the
bit
same-
like Jerry Jones, where it doesn't make much sense the moves he wants to
Yeah.
make. You don't trade for
This
you
is,
don't want to trade for Devontae Adams, but then want to bench Aaron Rodgers. The whole point of trading for
fact, this
Devontae
is the
Adams is to have
same-
the Rodgers
this is
to
the
Adams.
same. This is the same Johnson that made the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Keep that in mind.
Oh, okay.
He's also isn't he
He-
part of the
That-
Trump
he's-
Sounds like
cabinet?
another.
No,
shit
he's not
owner.
Trump cabinet, but he's big pharma. He was probably a big
Book,
donor.
he's not big enough TV star to make the Trump cabinet.
I
Like
swear
fucking-
he's in politics and now he
You
has
know,
to give
Cheese,
back.
you
No,
know
he's
how to
probably a
stop
huge
the Trump
donor.
cabinet?
Probably a
Beat him
huge
in the
donor, though.
election, buddy. All right,
He's
moving
thinking
on.
nominating
I swear there was
pedophiles.
Moving
something
on
where-
to the
Move
next
on.
matchup,
Nah,
we
they wouldn't have an
seen
NFL owner being
We
Zombie.
can skip this one. They're both
We
not here.
seen
No one
Zombie
cares.
take down Matt. Matt, 113. That's a little bit more respectable than what Matt's been doing recently, but not good enough as Zombie. 143, big week for him. Obviously, if he would have lost to Matt somehow, then that would have really hurt his chances. So it's a good win for him. 6-5. Matt falls to 2-9. It's looking basically like last place for Matt at this point. He would have to win out and then hope that one either slaps or Tyler lose out, and then he would jump him. But just a disaster season for Matt. Not sure where. I mean, it went wrong with the draft, but then he really didn't do much after the draft to try to change anything. So, yeah, I kind of see that coming. Zombie side, he had some nice games from Brees Hall finally with a monster game with 2 touchdowns. So Zombie's going to hope that continues moving forward. But then he had some inconsistencies with Jones and London and Noah Brown, who he had to start. And, I mean, obviously, monster game from Cooper Kupp. So that was good to see. I'm not going to read too much into this win because it was against Matt, but he had a nice sort of the Herbert trade could be good for Zombie. He might have solved his quarterback issue with that trade. But I still, in my personal opinion, I still think Zombie's team has quite a few holes, and I don't think he's getting 31 from Brees Hall every week with that Jets offense looking like it does. And I don't think Cooper Kupp is going to save his team every week. He really needs him and Drake London to get like 30 points a game because some of these other spots I don't think are going to be consistent moving forward. So I don't really know if Zombie's team is a playoff team, but we'll talk about that when we get into future weeks next week. Anybody want to make any comments on Zombie or Matt or this
I
matchup?
got one.
Go ahead.
I think Matt's living his best life because he had Brees Hall 2 touchdowns and Cooper Kupp 2 touchdowns for his bet,
Yeah, great bets,
and
man.
it made
Great
him
bets.
money. It
Great
made him
bet. So
money.
you better save some of that money for your end of the season punishments for last place.
Is he gonna pay or is he gonna do the hot salt, whatever?
Well, with all his betting wins, you would think he would just pay. I mean, unless
It's
he's
just a
found a
waste of
new
money,
stripper
though.
with kids that he can't
Waste of
afford.
money.
Well, we'll see what happens. But all right, moving on to the next matchup, we saw Cheese get a monster win over Zach in a big battle of teams that were in the playoff spots. Cheese now goes to 7-4 with a 131-111 scoreline. Zach, for a while there, was looking like he was in this one, and then Cheese's team kind of pulled away. They both had kind of lower, inconsistent shit quarterback performances that we did not see coming from these two quarterbacks, Lemar and Daniels. So they kind of wash each other out with shit games, but obviously the Lions boys continue. Instead of 30 plus, they're almost 40 plus combined almost every week now. It's ridiculous that those two running backs on the same team can be doing what they're doing all season long consistently, but GG's to Cheese on drafting both of them. Metcalf had an okay game in his first game back, got 9 targets, although JSN, outscored him. Zay Flowers, you might want to change the name from him because
It's not
he's
his
a
fault. Lamar
typical
looked like dog
boom
shit.
or bust. It's either low single,
Cheese didn't watch a game.
or
I did watch. There was that one
blowout big
catch off
game.
his face, but otherwise, a lot of
You
plays were
mean
called
one
back.
catch I would have given you like 8 points?
And
Look,
Achain, though, good game from him. Good bounce back game that a lot of people predicted. Obviously, the Raiders are shit. Shakir, did his normal good thing. So,
It's
overall, everyone was decent, consistent enough to get 131 and get the win. On Zach's side, it was really his running backs that let him down. Taylor had a really bad game. Chubb just continues to look awful this season. Tyreek Hill, though, did get a touchdown and get 19, so maybe Zach can have that positive going forward. Zach was floating the idea of trading him at the deadline and then never actually traded him at the deadline. Travis Kelce, though, 2.8
Shocker.
points. Where did that come from? He was going off each week, and then Buffalo shut him down. Although I got to give Zach credit. Jerry Jeudy, I shit on him a ton last week. I said start frickin' Jameson Williams over him. Jameson Williams did have a good game with 22, but I did not see a 26-point Jerry Jeudy game coming. But GG's to Zach on that. And Eckler, who we'll talk about when trades, no longer on his team, but had another turn back the time type game with 17.6 points and caught like got 9 targets and caught 8 balls. So, Cheese, your comments after the big win now to get you to that 7-win mark.
We
you
really
know.
needed that. That's
Yeah.
basically clinched my spot because I have the
Yeah.
most points for, so
Mhm.
I will be in the playoffs. See everybody there.
Barely.
Who's the shut up? DK looked all right coming back off injury. It's a tough matchup. And hopefully he'll get some touchdowns. Zay Flowers is a bit concerning, but he
Okay.
definitely has more upside than Devontae Adams.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Because there is going to be some bad weeks, but he could pop off. I mean, he's had some big pop off games. Also, the last 2 games, he's had so many catches that just there's flags and they just don't count. It's very annoying.
Well, that's
Yeah, we
on
did
your
solid.
team.
I mean, the commies, they kind of let me down and Kittle being out.
Any worry
but
about Daniels maybe going into like a funk?
I mean, he's going to start next week because the Cowboys are ass. But Jordan Love looked decent, so I have an option in case he actually is kind of ass. But
Okay.
Jordan Love had 20, so
Yeah.
it's a big win, and I'm glad I started Shakira over Mooney.
Yep.
So,
All right. Anybody else want to make any comments on this matchup? Nope. Okay. All right, moving on to the next one. We saw Bill taking down Ernie. This was a big time matchup, and it came down to the wire. Basically, you talk about penalties hurting someone. The penalty on when Ernie's kicker kicked that 50-some yarder that would have put Ernie like ahead by barely any points, but then there was a penalty on the defense that gave the Cowboys a first down, so the kick didn't stand. And then after that, Ernie's kicker missed a kick, and then Bill's wide receiver caught a couple balls, and that was enough to give Bill a 123-116 victory. Huge win for Bill to get him to 7 wins as well. So right there, tied for first at 7-4. Ernie now falls to 4-7. He just continues the little bit of unluckiness down the stretch. He's put up some monster weeks, and then the one week he doesn't put up a monster week, Bill out edges him. We were saying that this was kind of a must-win for Ernie when we looked at Bill's team and what it was kind of looking like, but the real story was Taysom Hill, 41 huge points. The guy does it every year. Every year he has a game or two where he just goes off. And this week for Bill, it was him, and he started him. So GG's to Bill on that. Got Bill back in it when it looked like he was going to get wiped by Ernie. So got him back in it, and then he pulled through. Although Russell Wilson, yikes. Shit game. No surprise because Russell Wilson is ass, but he finally came through with an ass game. Madison, the running backs for Bill were a disaster, but he overcame it with Taysom Hill, Elijah Moore with a solid game. So the 2 Browns wide receivers, they did enough. And then Tank Dell did just enough. And, other than that, it was kind of ugly. But it's an ugly win that Bill will take. Bill, your comments now 7-4. A lot of people the last couple of weeks were saying your team is with injuries, going downhill. You might not make the playoffs.
Bill
But you get to 7 wins. So, what are the thoughts on the team?
My team is definitely not a playoff team, but I'm still going to make it.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody's going to want to play my team.
In the playoffs.
But, I'm hopeful the Browns wide receivers will keep getting all those targets, and at least I'll have options to plug in players on good matchups. So, and there's also a chance that Olave might make it back for Week 15. Who knows?
Okay. All right. So maybe some hope there. All right. Anybody want to make any comments on this matchup? Ernie in particular, 4-7. He basically has to win out these last 3 games to have any hope. He did make a comment the other day in the party on Sunday that he makes the playoffs in all these other leagues he's in, and the one league that he tries so hard to make the playoffs in, he can't seem to do it, and this year included. So he's definitely a little bit panicked about getting in. He's gonna have to run the table. Anybody want to make any comments on Ernie?
I think Ernie has a chance.
Oh, okay.
Because his points for is kind of high, right? So he would.
Yes.
If he gets to 7, he would be in.
Yeah.
I would assume.
He has to win
and
out.
His schedule is kind of favorable. He just has to beat Pook this week. I don't know if he can.
Okay.
But I think if he beats Pook this week, he will run the table.
All right.
Ernie, I'll send you my PayPal.
Oh, okay. That ain't
No, it's
official
not done
yet, though.
It's not done
That
yet.
ain't official yet,
I
though.
think
But you're
he
looking
good.
can
Lose
make
out.
it, but we talked about it all year. It's his wide receivers. Can consistency
Yeah,
of
one
giving
did
him.
good, but then
Yeah, but it just
the
I
others
feel like
didn't.
every time one does good, the other two shit.
And I mean
then it
McCaffrey 14, he's gonna need
doesn't
better
help.
than that. That's not good enough. Need
What
to
was the
get the
McCaffrey
I'm not gonna
touchdowns
trade?
say he
rolling for
does it, but I
McCaffrey.
will
What was
say.
the McCaffrey trade again? What did you give up?
McCaffrey, it was a three-way trade.
I mean, he won that trade. Like that's not
Yeah,
actually
he won the
true.
trade, but it's
He
not.
didn't
It's
give up
It
much.
was
He gave up Tank Dell and
and Kyron Williams.
Kyron Williams, who hasn't been doing good. So,
Oh my
yeah.
God, get this dude out of here.
God damn, we got a trillion lead, buddy.
All right, moving on then to the next match, the final matchup of last week. We saw a kind of an upset. Slaps continues his roll, 138 to 108. You know, Tyler made some interesting comments about Slaps' team at the start of the show, but he put up another solid week, 138. You know, he made another trade this past week for Jaden Reed, who caught a touchdown, but only got 9.8 points, so not very good there. But JK all day. He got rid of his bye players and got Reed and Dobbins, and, you know, they did enough for him. 18.9. Jawan Jennings, obviously, with a monster game, 25, so maybe, you know, Zombie had Jennings at one point and dropped him. Or no, he traded him. Traded him to Slaps. So decent there for Slaps for that week at least. You know, Slaps team kind of pieces together week by week. He's not going to be able to trade anymore, so we'll see if he can keep the consistency up with some of these players. Obviously, Joe Burrow's been popping off. On Pook's side, he started the right quarterback with Jared Goff getting 34 huge points, so that was good. Bijan kind of had a down game for once, though, after having some huge ones the last few weeks. Jacobs, though, picked it up with 23. Jefferson, just another kind of mediocre 14 point, but Minnesota's offense didn't look that great this past week. Obviously got off to a horrible start on Thursday night with Scary Terry almost getting a goose egg till like the fourth quarter. Only 2 targets, only 1 catch. Ferguson now, concussion problems, so Pook's going to have to look elsewhere at tight end with Laporta. At least he has that trade for Laporta that he can plug in there. You know, other than that, kind of inconsistent. Of course, Hopkins comes back down to earth. Where was this a couple weeks ago against me? 5.9. So yeah, overall only 108 for Pook. Kind of came back down to earth and now is in a tie for first at 7-4. But still looking pretty solid to make the playoffs, getting to that 7-win mark already. Slaps, though, 5-6. He's not out of it. He's right there kind of in the boat of Tyler. He's streaking off wins. Can he keep doing it is the question. I'm sure I know the answer from some of these people, but anybody, Pook, your comments after losing to Slaps?
Unlucky for me. Terry McLaurin got strapped by the best corner in the NFL. And Jake Ferguson has a Down syndrome kid passing the ball to him.
Okay.
So I can't really do much there.
All right. We're not worried at all about VP Jefferson, are we?
No.
Okay.
He's just not getting the touchdown production. He's getting everything else though.
All right. All right. Anybody want to make any comments on this matchup on Slaps? Does anybody a
Slaps
believer?
can somehow make it, we're gonna look at that Jawan Jennings trade as the rape of the century.
What did he
I-
trade for that? Was that
Zach
for-
Zach
Charbonnet.
Charbonnet.
Oh, Zach Charbonnet.
Charbonnet.
Oh yeah, that's
I mean, help
huge.
value week 1 and 2, and
Mhm.
fucking.
He has not done anything.
Can we
since,
talk about the proposal that Slav made earlier in the chat now that more people are here?
I
Do
missed
we
that.
really
What
need
was
to
it?
talk about that right now?
It
Can't
is
we
fun.
just
I
do
think
that at
it's
a
fun.
later point?
What proposal?
I mean,
What
I
was
think
it?
it's
He
great.
Slaps in his. I know you won't be surprised to hear this, but Slaps will probably be proposing next year that there is no trade deadline until the
Absolutely
end of the
not.
regular season.
Absolutely
I
not.
know that's not
That
a
was the
surprise
greatest
because he wants to
proposal
keep
I've heard.
trading.
Absolutely
but
not.
He wants the trade deadline to be
You know,
after the regular
That's
season.
terrible.
So I don't think it's gonna get the support based on what I'm hearing, but it is interesting.
I think Slaps has a good chance to make it also.
Oh wow!
I-
So Tyler and
whatever-
Slaps. Wow.
His team turned around. I think the trades he made, like,
The last 3 he's
Some
made
of-
have worked for him.
yeah, some
The
of these
last 3.
questionable trades that people have made with Slaps, but I think it can work. And
I think this is a big week.
it's, yeah,
That
He
one,
uses the
that
biggest
one he made
shoulder.
with Zach was good just from the stand. I said the players were all kind of equal, but it was good for him because he got rid of the bye guys and got guys playing, which he needed to win. So it was a good trade from that. And I mean, yeah, I don't know.
But
I
I'll
just
say-
feel like when I look at his team, though, some of these players, I don't know if they're gonna each week put up points.
Who said they only
So-
let me finish earlier? But I was looking at the 3, 6, and 5 besides me, Zach, Zombie, and
Mm-hmm.
Usa.
Yep.
Realistically, I see Zombie and Zach being the ones to struggle to make it in more than Pusa,
Really?
because Pusa actually has
Okay.
the points for more than
All right.
anybody else.
I mean,
So,
I don't know if you've seen the schedule that I have.
I'm just saying it
Well, he's
could.
saying you're gonna make it, Pusa. Relax.
Yes, but Zombie and Zach.
Well, we will do a playoff prediction here
Yeah.
in a little bit, so everybody can give those. But all right, so looking at the standings then after last week, as I said, Cheese back out in first place on points for, although there is two people tied with him at 7 and 4, Pook and Bill. Obviously, we've all seen Bill's team and Bill including himself. But it would be something if Bill somehow got the number 1 overall seed with the team that he has and gets a bye. I'm sure he'd love that. So there's an interesting fight for that top spot in that bye this year. And I mean, even all the 6 and 5s are still right in it to get the 1 seed. All they got to do is go on a little bit of a run here and have some of the 7 and 4s lose. We got Pusa in 4th then at 6 and 5, Zombie in 5th, 6 and 5, Zach 6th, and Rat 7th. That would be the playoffs at the moment. I would be the first one out at 5 and 6. Then Tyler 5 and 6, and then Slabs 5 and 6, and then Ernie the lone 4 and 7, and then obviously Matt in dead last place at 2 and 9 and eliminated basically, because even if he wins out, he's only getting to 5 wins. So he is pretty much eliminated. I don't think we need to worry too much about Matt making a ton of waiver moves because he hasn't done it all year. So
Well,
Who
don't we
lost to
still lock
Matt?
his
Who lost to
team?
Matt this year?
Don't we lock his team, Gopher?
Not me.
well, that's what I'm saying. He's mathematically eliminated, so he shouldn't be doing any moves. But I just said, Pusa,
mean,
we
you
don't
said
need to
if you-
worry about him doing a ton of crazy moves because he hasn't been doing them all
also-
season.
But no, we need to lock his
can't-
team.
You can't
don't
lock his
lock it.
team because there's a punishment
You
for
still,
last place.
you still start.
Oh,
you just
yeah.
don't make a bunch of pickups and drops and everything unless you absolutely have to. That's
Tyler lost to Matt.
you can pick up players after
Yeah, I
the
don't think
waivers
Matt's gonna
clear
do that.
when it's out of the way,
That
and
one
he's not
really.
going to anyways. As I
Yeah.
said, he hasn't been doing it all
It's
season.
not really the.
Yeah,
Oh, and
he's
Ernie.
not a threat. And so, as we said, Ernie's kind of the one now. Next one we look at of needing to win now. He's got to basically win out if he wants to have a chance. Obviously, the 5 and 6s need to win. 6 and 5s need to win. So it's going to be a very interesting and the last 3 weeks here. Looking at waivers just real quickly, not too much going on besides Ernie picking up a tight end, Isaiah Likely for $20. Man, the money that has been spent on Isaiah Likely this year between the very first week with Zombie spending however much he did, and now, I mean, there's almost been $100 a fab spent on Isaiah Likely this season. We'll see if it works at all for Ernie. He hasn't done shit since that first week of the season. Slaps does get a kicker, which I also wanted, so GG's to him. Then Rat picks up Kendrick Bourne, and Bill gets rid of shit Russ and picks up a Tennessee wide receiver. Shocker. All right, so that's that. Looking real quickly at trades this past week because it was a busy deadline. There was a few notables here. Let's see, where does it start? Right here. This one was kind of interesting. This one had a lot of people talking when it first was accepted between Bill and Slaps. Bill gets rid of Baker Mayfield and Kyron Williams and Blake Corum. He gets in return Gibson, Stevenson, and Downs. Some people, when it first happened, were kind of questioning that return for Kyron Williams. You know, he had one accepted that he canceled earlier in the week for Kyron, and Bill, was this? I'm taking it this was the best offer that you liked after all that week of people sending you offers for Kyron Williams after you canceled.
Nobody sent me offers. Nobody
Oh,
wanted
no
them.
one sent you offers, so they all
Nobody.
just said they would give you
Well-
something better and then never did.
Nobody sent me decent offers. I mean,
Okay.
Poop sent me terrible offers. So, yeah, that's
Shocker.
Shocker.
Yeah. All right. So you do this trade reasoning. You want Stevenson. You want Downs, who has looked decent. And
I don't think Kyron's going to do well the rest of the year with the 2 main wide receivers back. I think he's
Okay.
going to be like 10 to 15 points a week, which is fine.
yeah.
It's a high floor, but you know, it's just not worth the value that I traded for. So I traded him away to Slaps, who thinks he's way better than he is probably going to do. I mean, I could be wrong, but
Mhm.
I'd rather try Ramondre, which could have a higher ceiling, lower floor, but
Yeah.
that's what you
More
gotta-
boom or bust,
you
but
gotta-
could have bigger boots.
yeah. I mean,
Okay.
when you have a bad team, you got to take those risks.
I gotcha. Okay.
So,
All right. Anybody else want to make any comments on this trade? No. All right. Then we saw a three-way between me, Zach, and Rat that came together at the trade deadline. Obviously, I had buy issues for next week, and I needed to get a better competitive team for this week. So I gave up Stafford, Boswell, and my boy Chase Brown. Zach gets Chase Brown, and Stafford, he gives me my boy Bo Nix, so now I can finally complete my team name for this week, and Eckler, who can service running back this week since Chase Brown is on a bye. And then Rat gives me Goddard, and he gets a kicker, Chris Boswell, who's coming off that 25-point game. Obviously, do I want to get rid of Chase Brown? Not really, but I need wins. I got to win at least 2 out of the last 3, maybe even all 3. So I need players that are going to play this week and maybe help me beat Cheese, and Chase Brown is on a bye. But decent trade for Zach, I think. Rat, obviously, he wants a kicker. I don't know. Goddard, he's been okay, but nothing crazy, so it's not like he's giving up a lot. Rat, you want to make any comments on this? Go ahead.
I think I got the most consistent kicker in the league, and then you got I got Brock Bowers, so I don't see the point of keeping Goddard because nobody's really starting over Brock Bowers, and I see Goddard as like a 7 to 10 point guy a game when that whole offense is healthy. So it's not really a big loss.
All right. Anybody else want to make any comments on this trade or just anything in general on the last week of trade deadline? Anybody want to make any comments on any trades that maybe almost happened but somehow didn't? If there was anything out there or their thoughts over trades overall this season?
Pook is the worst negotiator I've ever seen.
Oh, okay.
Buddy,
I'm for
if you're
Pook
gonna
trades on this guy.
if you're gonna offer me dog shit, I'm gonna offer you dog shit back.
Buddy,
Big buddy.
I just
Don't
want
even
the
start.
stack, and you're like, I need George Kittle, I need AK,
Oh,
and
I'm
I
not
need
gonna.
DK
I'm not
Metcalf.
gonna give you the sack willingly. That's my entire point this entire
The
year.
stack had
I
to buy
got
15
the
points
best
last week.
trade offer from Pook.
Okay, and the sack 1 week can get like 40.
I got the greatest trade offer.
I'd rather keep Terry and not let you get stacked than give you a fair trade.
I think Pook makes fair trades.
Oh.
I got offered Josh Jacobs, Hopkins, and Laporta for Nico Collins, Brock Bowers, and Brian Robinson.
Okay.
What a trade.
Sarcasm.
That was a great trade offer.
Okay. All right. Interesting trade season, as I said. We'll see next year if there's any changes as far as the deadline or anything like that. But overall, I think trades this year went pretty well. There wasn't anything that was too some years past, we've had some trades that were really, really people bitching about. This year, I don't think there was too much of that. Obviously, we had some people that accepted trades and then canceled once people in the chat went crazy. I still don't quite understand that because you're just, taking what other people's words or opinion are, and then that's influencing yours. If you're not, solid enough with the trade you're doing where some people come in and talk about it, and that makes you change your mind, then I don't understand why you're doing the trade in the first place. It seems like, though, back-to-back years that Cheese, cancels a trade that might have saved him. Cheese, any comments on your trading this year at all?
I'd like to thank the league
Yeah.
for helping me out.
Okay.
I think my drafting was key this year, so.
Okay. And we did look at the people that traded the most. It was, I believe, Slaps and who was the other one? Rat?
Yes.
I think they both had 12 and 11 or something. So no surprise, those two. Obviously, those two were some heavy favorites to be the most active traders this season. As we talked about with Slaps in particular, good trades at the end of the season, horrible trades in the beginning of the season.
Thank you for Puka.
Yeah. All right, so now looking then into week number 12. As we said, only 3 weeks left in the regular season, and these matchups will become massive these next 3 weeks, starting with, as I said, my matchup versus Cheese. 7-4 versus 5-6, so huge one for me. Right now, Sleeper projecting Cheese to win 127-96. My score line's a little bit out there as they got Hunt only projected for 3, but then they have Pacheco for 0. So one of them's going to get projected for more based on if Pacheco's playing. Obviously, if he's back, I will be starting him. I do have some buy issues, though, which is why we made the trades this past week to get a little bit better of a chance. I have Bo Nix starting against the Raiders. Obviously, a monster game against the Falcons. Hopefully, he continues that against the Raiders. I need a huge scoreline like he had last week to have a chance against Cheese this week. As I said already, Hunt or Pacheco, one of them against Carolina. Decent matchup. Hopefully both of them just have monster games. That way it doesn't matter which one I start. Eckler against Dallas. Obviously, Dallas is a train wreck. Hopefully, he can have one more week of turning back the time to old Eckler, please. CeeDee Lamb, questionable against Washington. He had a good, solid game last week. Just can you do that one more week? Get 19 like you got last week. Mike Evans should be hopefully back and good to go as he was limited practices today against the Giants. Cheese traded you away, Mike Evans. Just remember that. Please, just come back. Don't be slow out of the get-go off your injury. Just come back and put up a monster game week 1 against the shitty Giants, Cheese's team. Goddard against the Rams on Sunday night. Christian Watson against the 49ers with Garrett Wilson on bye. Fat Diarrhea, as we're now calling him, against the Packers. And Chase McLaughlin against the Giants. Fat Diarrhea, you're out there. You need to have a big game. Get a touchdown for once. It's been a while, buddy. Come on.
Any D.
On Cheese's side, Jaden Daniels against those shit Cowboys. Should be a good game for him to have a bounce back. Obviously, the Lions boys against the Colts. That's already an automatic 30 at least. Metcalf against the Cardinals. Zay Flowers on Monday night against the Chargers. Chargers decent defense. Hopefully they learned last week from the Bills and can shut down, or not the Bills, learned last week from the Steelers and can shut them down again. Kittle, who says he will be playing this week against those big game Packers. It's a little more scary for me that he's so fired up to play the Packers. Achane against the Patriots should be good. Going with the 2 tight end strat again, which has worked more this season with the extra flex. Ertz against Dallas and Cyber against Dallas. So that Dallas game, God, if Dallas could ever just have a shock the world moment and shut down the Commanders, that would help me. I don't think it's going to happen, but you never know. Obviously, the other day, me and Cheese in the party, I went through both of our lineups and said what our scoreline would be, and I'm going to stick to that. I'm going to win 140 to 120. I'm going to get huge games from Mike Evans and Bo Nix and Eckler and CeeDee Lamb, and they're going to carry me to this huge upset victory over the top-seeded Cheese somehow, some way. Cheese did, obviously, this is the first week of rematches. So Cheese did beat me in week number 1, so hopefully I can get my revenge here. All right, Rat, who's winning this matchup?
I'm going to have to pick Cheese.
Okay, no surprise.
It's a close game. Obviously, like you said, the Kareem Hunter Pacheco, they'll go up, but the bye week issues and Cooper Rush having 2 games in a row where he just does some stuff for CD. I don't know if that can happen.
Hey, CD had a better game this past week.
But Cooper Rush is just...
He's not good, but just keep throwing it to CD.
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, they get down huge, so they just throw the ball.
They do play a way better team, too, so... At the moment. Well, not way better team, but...
I mean, Houston and Washington are pretty equal.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes.
All right. Tyler, who's winning this matchup?
I mean, Cheese has like an 80% chance to win.
Okay.
Can't pick you.
All right. Pook?
I think Cheese is going to win.
All right. Pusa?
This is going to be a smacking. I think Golfer is in disarray with Cooper Rush being his star player's quarterback. I think this is going to be a 40-point loss for Golfer.
Okay. I hope I can prove you wrong there. All right, and Cheese. Obviously, you're going to take yourself, but
myself, Scooble just won the Cy Young. It's the only win you're getting this week.
Oh, okay.
I'd like to congrats Zach Wheeler for losing another Cy Young. Look, it's just solid matchups for everybody this week. I'm worried about Eckler since it looked pretty good last week. But A-Chain's matchup's very good. Kittle is fired up apparently. DK is going to try to get a touchdown, I feel, and then Dan Campbell he likes to run the score up, so that's good. Both suck ass. So I feel good. I feel like we're going to put up a very solid number, and I feel like your team would need to go have a big boom week.
140.
Compete.
That's my target. And my boy Bo Nix, great Trump supporter, is going to do to you what Trump did to Kamala.
Bo Nix will trip and fall.
Wow.
Why is everybody tripping and falling? Jeez.
Because that's a nice way to say I hope they get hurt.
Bo Nix will fall out a window like people in Russia do when they disagree with Putin.
Okay. All right, moving on to the next matchup. We see Rat taking on the last place team, Matt. So good schedule week for Rat here to possibly get another win and get him to those 7-win mark. Obviously, super projecting it 118 to 80. Rat has Stroud in there finally, back in there against Tennessee. Interesting. Walker is your other quarterback on bye. Oh yeah, Allen's on bye. Walker in there against Arizona. James Conner back against Seattle. Nico in there against Tennessee as well. So the Stroud to Nico connection. Devontae Smith against the Rams on Sunday night. Bowers against Denver. Romeo Dobbs in there against that 49ers game. And Brian Robinson against the Dallas Cowboys. That should be good for him. And newly acquired Boswell on Thursday night to get him started tomorrow against Cleveland. Better hope Cleveland puts up a fight where they just don't score a bunch of touchdowns. Richardson against Detroit, obviously sticking with him. Derrick Henry on Monday night, so he does have a Monday night player. Swift against Minnesota. DJ Moore against Minnesota. Addison against Chicago. Andrews on Monday night against the Chargers. He's got Etienne, who he's going to have to put out, and McPherson. So he's got some work to do to at least fill a lineup, which he can do because now that waivers have cleared. So Matt, if you somehow listen to this, you do need to pick up a kicker and put someone in your flex from your bench, like Pittman or somebody, or Atwell or whoever the hell you choose. Obviously, I'm taking Rat. This is a free win for him and a good time for it to get him to the 7-win mark. Even though his team has a little bit of buys, I think it's still going to be good for him. I think his running backs are strong. Nico's going to have a better game. Bowers will do okay. I don't think he's going to do as good as last week, but I think Brian Robinson can have like a 20-plus point game this week against the shit Cowboys. And I think Rat rolls easily. Cheese, who is winning this match?
Rat's not going to have a massive total, but if he loses, he should deactivate.
Oh. Okay.
Because Matt is gifted.
You know, we did say this once before when he was facing slaps, and we all know what happened.
Looking at Matt's team, it's like Matt would need like miracles to happen.
Okay.
And also half his team is playing each other. He has all the Chicago, Minnesota players.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. I mean, like Rat's team, James Conner, I like his running backs. I like Brock Bowers. I just feel like it's gonna be like. We'll put up like 115, 120, and Matt's going to put up 75.
Okay, interesting. Let's see here. Pook, who's winning this match?
I am going with the upset of the century.
Oh!
Chris Boswell is going to start off the week with -2.
Oh.
And Matt's going to ride that momentum on to a 2-point win.
Wow. Oh my god, what an upset prediction. Oh my god.
Matt's going to win 80 to 78?
Probably.
Wow, damn, that's okay, interesting. Let's see here. Pusa. Who's winning?
I think you know who I'm picking.
Your boy Matt.
I don't know. You shit on both of
No,
them.
I'm not picking that.
Oh.
No.
Okay. So Rat.
Maybe if Matt does about 4 lines of no, you'll see his score
Back on the drugs.
and think that he won.
Okay. All right. Tyler, who's winning? Let me guess. 80% chance.
Because it's Matt.
Wait, you said Matt?
Rat because it's Matt.
Okay. All right. Who am I missing? Bill, I think I skipped you in the first matchup, so my bad. Would you like to predict them both?
That's all good. Yeah, so on the first matchup, I'm afraid I'll have to take Chiefs.
Okay.
In this matchup, obviously Matt's not winning another game all season, so there's no point in even going over this matchup.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Did I get everybody? Oh, Rat, obviously.
So about 4 weeks ago, I played maybe the worst lineup in the league.
Yes, and you lost.
Matt has Derrick Henry and arguably the worst lineup in fantasy history.
Okay.
Plus him, If I lose, I don't know what I would do.
Be careful, because you made those big comments against Slaps,
Yes.
and
I
you lost.
just, I think I win by like 50 to 75 points. Like, I don't see a problem with, like, I lose, I don't know. But I think I'm going to destroy him.
Okay.
But,
Fair
yeah,
enough.
I'll regret this somehow.
All right. Well, these type
And
of
I did
matchups,
say,
although they're good, they can be scary, because if you do somehow lose, you're the laughing stock.
I did say I was going to surprise. I didn't realize he's getting gifted wins, so I rescind that statement.
Oh,
Can
okay.
I,
Wow.
can I ask Cheese about gifted wins really quick?
It's a gifted win,
It
buddy.
seems like every time somebody plays a shit team, Cheese says it's a gifted win.
No,
when he
Matt
doesn't
has
even
2
have
wins
the
all
most
year. It's a
points
gifted
against
win.
in most of the league. So is your schedule Mickey Mouse too, buddy? Or do
My
you
schedule's
just
not
talk
Mickey
to talk,
Mouse.
buddy?
I have faced
Okay,
a
buddy.
lot of high
Who
school
did Matt
teams.
beat?
Yeah, who
Okay,
has Matt beat? Does anybody remember?
Matt beat Tyler and who I just looked at it. It was Tyler and
Ernie.
someone else.
Tyler
I think
and
it was
Ernie.
Ernie?
Tyler
Wow.
and Ernie. Yeah, Ernie
Ernie's
wrote
got to
that
be
one.
kicking himself for that, because he could have
Look,
used
we
that
looked
extra
up. We looked up on the app. Okay, Bill has had the easiest schedule by far.
Oh, well, I mean, he has 7 wins with that team, so that's not a big surprise. Okay. All right. Moving on to the third matchup of this week, we see a big one between Zach and Tyler. So Tyler took down somebody he was chasing last week to overtake. Can he do it again this week with Zach at 6-5 and Tyler at 5-6? Right now, Sleeper says 117 to 108 for Tyler. So at the moment, maybe. Geno Smith in there in that big game, the big divisional game now against Arizona. Who would have thought that would be the case at this point of the season? But Arizona's right in it against Seattle. Mixon against Tennessee after the big game last week with the 3 touchdowns. Tracy back in there off bye against Tampa Bay. St. Brown after his huge game gets the Colts this week. Should be another good one for him. Nakua on Sunday night against the Eagles. We'll see who the best corner, as Pook says, in the league is matched up against. Will it be Kupp? Will it be Nakua? Or maybe a mix? Henry against Miami. JSN against Arizona, Marvin Harrison against Seattle, and Sanders against the Patriots. On Zach's side, Lamar on Monday night against the Chargers. Decent defense. We'll see if Lamar can have a bounce back after his bad game last week. Monday night game, so this could come down to that. Taylor against Detroit, tougher matchup. We'll see what Taylor can do after his bad game last week. Chuba back in there against Kansas City this week, also kind of rough. Hill against the Patriots, maybe that could be a good game as Miami's rolling a little bit better. Sutton against the Raiders. Travis Kelce against Carolina should be a good bounce back. Jameson Williams back in there now against the Colts. So St. Brown versus Williams. He's got to put in a flex, so who does he got? Jerry Jeudy?
But it's against Pittsburgh. That's tough.
So he's going to need to put that in. Hopefully, he's in Texas right now.
Chubb.
Hopefully he doesn't forget to set his lineup tomorrow and put...
Well, he has Wandale, I guess.
Yeah, maybe he's deciding between them. Interesting, so I'll have to choose that. And then Tucker on Monday night. This has not been a vintage Tucker season, which Zach doesn't want to talk about, but he's been looking a little rough this season. We'll see if Tucker and Lamar on Monday night, how many points he'll need against Tyler. I am going to take... I do like some of Zach's matchups, and he's got some guys after last week that had shit games that are kind of due for better games, but I'm still going to take Tyler. I think his lineup, getting the guys back from bye, plus some of them are surging, I think he's going to have just enough, like 120 to 115-ish, to beat Zach this week. Cheese, who's winning this matchup?
I will be taking Tyler.
Okay.
The Mixon matchup's kind of rough, but Mixon's actually kind of elite this year. I do like a bunch of their matchups. I think Zach's going to need like 30 coming into Monday night.
Okay.
And Lamar's going to get 25. He's going to be hype. And then Tucker's going to miss like 3 field goals and get
Oh my
-3.
God, Zach would kill himself if that happened that way.
Actually, it's going to come down to the last play of the game. 60-yarder from Tucker. Zach could win it, and he misses the field.
Wow. All right. Rat?
Tyler wins this.
Okay.
Chuba's downfall starts this week against the Chiefs. They're not doing shit.
Okay.
And Travis Kelce's going to have another, 2 to 4 point game.
Oh, wow, another one? Against Carolina?
Yep.
Okay. Pook, who's winning?
You know, my boy Chuba Hubbard was on an 8-game win streak until Slaps gave him to that fucking bum.
Wow.
And that win streak isn't restarting. Tyler's gonna fuck the shit out of Zach this week.
Oh. Okay. Wow. Strong words there.
Ooh.
All right.
Jeez,
Pusa.
I thought you were supportive of that. What are you doing?
Okay, I didn't know Tyler was like that, man.
All right. Pusa, who's winning this matchup?
Tyler's going to kill Zach.
Wow. Everybody taking Tyler. All right. Kill Zach. Wow. The 1 week Zach's not here.
Before or after?
Okay.
Before or after?
I don't know. Tyler did this move, so I think he's safe before the matchup. So after the matchup, he'll be killing Zach. So.
Okay. Bill.
I'm going to go with everybody else and take Tyler. I think the teams are pretty even, but the matchups definitely favor Tyler this week.
Okay. All right. Tyler, everybody has picked you. Does that worry you at all?
Yes, Cheese, I'll have you know, I was friends with Diddy, and I was on the F's team client list, so I am like that,
get him out of here.
and I will be winning. Zach's team is okay, but my wide receivers will carry me. Do a fucking, like Pook said.
Ooh,
Let's
okay.
go.
Confident. Nice. All right, moving on to the next one. Obviously, another monster matchup as we see Pook at 7-4 fighting for that bye versus Ernie, who's just fighting to get in the playoffs and has to basically win out. So this is a must-win for Ernie. Pook could basically end Ernie's season if he gives him a loss this week. Ernie was already trying to backtrack today in the chat saying he doesn't want any aids with Pook, trying to buddy up to Pook, so maybe he takes it easy on him. We'll see, although Pook... low scoring projection at the moment, 100 to 99. Pook, what? You got some bye issues or something? What is? Oh yeah, your running backs and tight end. So Pook has Goff against the Colts. Should be another good game from him. Only 14 points projected for Goff. Seems a little low especially against the Colts. Jacobs against the 49ers in that big game. Going with Juszczyk, the fullback for the 49ers against Green Bay. Jefferson against Chicago. Maybe he could have a big get in the end zone game this week. Scary Terry against Dallas. Perfect bounce back game opportunity for him against the Cowboys. Will Dissy on Monday night after his nice performance last week against Baltimore now this week. Hopkins looking for a bounce back against Carolina. Demario Douglas against the Dolphins, and Moody against Green Bay. Interesting. So you're not playing Laporta this week. You're rolling with Dissy, huh? Interesting.
We will see.
Oh, okay.
To be determined.
On Ernie's side, he has Mahomes against Carolina. Should be a decent matchup for Mahomes. Barkley against the Rams. Also should be pretty good on Sunday night. Should be another vintage Barkley type performance. McCaffrey against Green Bay. We'll see if he can get into the end zone and put up a monster game. They're going to need it if they're going to beat Green Bay. Calvin Ridley against Houston. It's either a huge game for Ridley or a single point game for Ridley. So we'll see which one is this week. Ladd McConkey after his nice game against Baltimore. So they both have Monday night players. Pitts is on bye, so he's going to have to get... Didn't he pick up a tight end this week?
Likely.
Yeah, so he'll be, I guess, rolling with him against the Chargers. So another Monday night player. Mike Williams tomorrow against Cleveland. Interesting. He did catch that touchdown pass a couple weeks ago, so we'll see if he can get him off to any type of decent start. I'm assuming if he gets 10 plus, Ernie's happy on Thursday night, but we'll see. Lockett, against Arizona, just continues the rough streak of Ernie's wide receivers this season, but the running backs are good. And Aubrey against Washington. This is an interesting matchup because both teams have some question marks in their lineups with their buys. I think I'm going to take Pook just because although Ernie has a massive advantage at running back, I think McLaurin's going to have a huge game. I actually think Jefferson against Ernie is going to have a big game. He's kind of due. And I think if Pook starts Laporta, that could be decent. So I'm going to take Pook, but I think it's a lower scoring, like 110 to 100. Unfortunately, Ernie put up all those monster score lines a few weeks ago with losses, and now I think his team kind of slows down like you saw last week. And I think he, at the wrong time, gets another loss. And I'm going to take Pook in a close one. Geez, who's winning?
I gotta take Pook. I just like the wide receiver matchups a lot better. I think Terry's gonna have a big week. I think Jefferson's gonna have a big week. D-Hop could have some touchdowns. I like Ernie's running backs. His wide receivers are just so like inconsistent.
Yeah, he's got Kamara on bye too, so that hurts. He doesn't have his three-headed running back.
I mean, I could see McConkey and Ridley having good weeks, but at the same time, they could also drop like 10 combined. And I really don't like Mike Williams.
Yeah.
Lockett, I don't mind. I think Lockett's a fine flight, and Aubrey obviously has been kind of collapsing since the Cowboys feel like shit now.
Yeah, it's rough when you're not in any close games because really your only chance for field goals is in the first half.
Every time.
You're only playing half the game going for field goals instead of the whole game.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Pook. A close matchup.
Rat.
Like you guys said, I think it's going to be close in my scoring. I'm looking at 3 key players for each team: Jacobs, Jefferson, and McLaurin. And for Ernie, I'm looking at Barkley, McCaffrey, and McConkey. McConkey has been inconsistent all year, so I think that could be where he just breaks Ernie's heart and doesn't, like G said, doesn't do his 18-point game like last week. He has a 5-point game.
Okay.
But I think McConkey randomly puts up 15 plus. He's going to need 15 from McConkey Monday night to win. But I think he can do it because it's Baltimore and they're pretty bad. I'm taking Ernie in like a 1-point game.
Wow.
It's gonna come close. Really close.
All right. So pick for Ernie. Tyler, who's winning this matchup?
Said it before. Ernie's team is free fall.
Free fall. Wow.
Pick.
Okay, so you're taking Pook. All right. Pusa.
I think Ernie's going to miss the playoffs, but in terms of this particular week, I see a win.
Wow. Okay, so he still has some hope by winning this week. All right. And Bill left. He's not. Is he here? No.
He left.
All right. All right. Pook, are you putting the nail in Ernie's coffin?
I think this game comes down to one thing and one thing only. Whichever San Fran player scores more. Therefore,
so Ernie's winning.
I am taking the win after a terrible, terrible, terrible first snap injury.
Oh no.
In which Nick Bosa finds out that Christian McCaffrey voted for Kamala Harris, and he takes out his own teammate.
So by that logic, wouldn't you want to pick up Jordan Mason then? That Ernie dropped?
No, because Jordan Mason also voted for Kamala Harris. Oh. And he took out both of them on the same play.
You have no other running backs you get?
Do I see collusion
I have
here
Zamir
with
White.
Check?
If Madison doesn't play, then I'm going Zamir White. I'm not stupid.
I mean, why would Pook lose on purpose, Rat? He's trying to get the ball.
I don't know.
Running backs is very scarce on the waivers.
Pick up Sean. There's gotta be someone else you could pick up.
He is the fullback one.
Go and look. See who I can pick up.
I mean, you could just play Zamir White.
Fat Zeke.
I'm gonna play Zamir White if
Fat Zeke.
Madison's out.
No. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Wait, that's.
But I mean, even if Madison's in, Zamir White has a better chance of getting more snaps than Juszczyk.
No. Last week, Juszczyk played like 40% of the snaps.
Questionable start, but we'll see.
Okay.
He played
40% and got 3.2 points. And how much did Zamir White get?
34%, and he got 0.9.
Okay. All right. Well, if it comes down to the two San Fran boys, unless that whole scenario happens, you're fucked. But I don't think it's gonna come down to that quite scenario. But we will see. Ernie desperately needs the win. It's a great matchup for the neutral to watch because Ernie's trying to already avoid the Pook aids with Pook when he's tried to bin aids to everybody else all season long in the matchups. But now he doesn't want to smoke versus Pook because he knows if Pook beats him, he ends Ernie's season. So It's interesting. Moving on to the next one, we see another must-win game for Slaps at 5 and 6 versus Bill. So good time to maybe Slaps sneak another one out against Bill's team. Right now, pretty close, 108 to 109. Slaps barely in front. Obviously, they made a trade at the deadline, so Slaps now has Baker Mayfield against the Giants this week. Najee Harris to get him started tomorrow night against Cleveland, so he'll need a good start from him. Newly acquired Kyren Williams on Sunday night against the Eagles. Tougher matchup. We'll see if the Rams just keep passing. Pickens on Thursday night. Man, Slaps has a lot of players, big-time players for tomorrow night going. Reed against the 49ers. Hawkinson against the Bears. JK all day again Monday night, so he does have one of those players as well. Jennings after his huge game against Green Bay, and Myers against Arizona. On Bill's side, Kyler Murray in there against Seattle. He's going to need to have a big game if they're going to win against Seattle. Stevenson against Miami. Gervonta Williams back in there against the Raiders. Should be decent against the horrible Raiders. Jacoby Myers against Denver. Downs, newly acquired against Detroit. McBride against Seattle. Tank Dell against Tennessee. And Tillman on Thursday night. So they both have a Thursday night player at least. And Bates against Colts. So no two tight end strat this week for Bill. Interesting he's not going with K. Dotton against Baker Mayfield. So interesting choice there from Bill. I think Slaps pulls out another one just to keep himself alive and get him to 6 and 6. I think he gets off to a strong start tomorrow night, as Pittsburgh might be on upset alert, might look past Cleveland, but I still think it's going to be a decent scoring game, and I think Pittsburgh, after not scoring a touchdown last week, is going to get some touchdowns tomorrow, and maybe it's Harris or Pickens. Pickens has been on fire. I don't really like Kyren Williams this week, but besides that, I don't mind his lineup, and I think he's going to edge out Bill. Kind of mediocre scoring, though, like 125 to 115-ish, somewhere in there. I don't think it'll be too high scoring for either of these lineups. Cheese, who's winning?
Bill is lucky he won this week because I think Slaps got this.
Oh, okay.
I think Bill just has a lot of tough matchups. Not loving Jacoby Myers matchup. Not loving Downs. I think the Lions are going to destroy the Colts.
Yeah.
Tennessee has a decent defense, so Tank Dell might get shut down again. I don't like Tillman versus Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
I also think Slav has some hard matches, but not as bad.
Okay.
I think Baker's going to pop off.
All right, so
and
Slaps
Jennings,
gets
yeah.
another one then, according to you.
Pulls it out.
All right, Rat.
Slaps is back. Slaps.
After you were saying he was dead all season long.
Yeah, I called him the worst team in the league. And
Yeah,
randomly put together a team that can win some games. And I think Najee Harris projected for 10 points is kind of wrong.
A little bit low.
I think he's like a...
Fake Rat was me and Slaps' biggest hater.
Yeah,
I was.
And now they're both making runs.
I see, yeah.
He should have been Matt's biggest hater. Then he would have looked right.
Yeah, so we'll see.
All right. Pook.
I think. Wait, what matchup is this?
Bill
again?
versus Slaps.
I think Slaps is gonna lose because he traded away Chuba.
Oh, okay. All right, Tyler. You said Slaps team's a little fluky. Well, does he get another fluky win against Bill, who's on the
My
down?
heart says Slaps. My head says Bill has a better.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Bill's still not here, right? Pusa, are you here? Or did you leave as well?
I'm here. I'm
Okay.
here. I'm gonna take Slaps in a close
Wow.
one.
Taking Slaps. Also a big Slaps hater this year, Pusa. Having to bite the bullet and take Slaps again.
When am I not
I mean, he's a
Slaps hater?
perpetual Slaps hit.
Wow. All right, interesting. All right, and moving on then to the final matchup of Week 12. We see another big one, a battle of 6 and 5 teams. One of these teams, whoever loses this matchup, could cost their playoff possibilities. They would be 6 and 6. Some of these 5 and 6s might win, so it puts them in a big time situation. The winner of this probably gets in the playoffs, so it's a huge game. both low score. A lot of low projected matchups this week because there is a lot of big time bye players in this week. Zombie projected to edge it out 103 to 102, but basically 103 as well. So basically toss up. Zombie's got Herbert on Monday night against Baltimore. He has to start Zach Charbonnet against Arizona. Oh boy. Aaron Jones against Chicago. Malik Neighbors against Tampa Bay. We'll see if he can, get back to the early season Neighbors form. It's been forever. Still has to go with Noah Brown against the Cowboys. A better matchup this week, so maybe Noah Brown can get 10. Maybe we'll see. And Njoku tomorrow night to get him started against Pittsburgh. Cooper Kupp on Sunday night. Jonnu Smith, so he's rolling with the two tight ends. Jonnu, a big game last week against the Patriots this week. And Dicker on Monday night, so he's got Monday night, Thursday night, and Sunday night players. On Pusa's side, Hurts on Sunday night against the Rams. Big game there. Rachaad White in there against the Giants off bye. Pollard in there against Houston. See if he has a bounce back game. Leggett against the Chiefs. Waddle against the Patriots. Tucker Kraft against the San Fran. Irving, so he's got to go with both Tampa running backs against the Giants. It's not a horrible matchup against the Giants. Maybe they can both edge out 10 plus. We'll see. Irving can catch the ball some. A.J. Brown on Sunday night against the Rams, and Fairbairn against Houston. Wow. In my opinion, I think this is a toss-up matchup. There's a lot of players I don't like on either side. Obviously, both teams dealing with some buys with Adams and Chase on bye for Pusa, and Zombie with London, Thomas, and Breece Hall on bye. It's a mess on both sides. Somebody is going to be very happy and fortunate to get a win this week when if they played other teams, they probably wouldn't. If Zach was here, he'd probably say tie on this one. I should take a tie, but for some reason I have a feeling that Pusa's going to pull this out somehow. So I'm going to take him in a very close, low-scoring affair. Geez, who's winning?
Oh, God.
Yeah,
this is terrible.
This is rough.
I wanted to say Pusa by landslide, but he's starting some real shitters.
Yeah.
I think Leggett, Waddle, and Crabtree combined for 10.
Well, what the fuck do you want me to do?
No, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. I'm going to yell until you start Rashawn Johnson. I think Zion went just because Cooper Kupp and Njoku could pop off.
Okay.
And Neighbors could maybe be a safety blanket for whoever starts for the Giants.
Okay.
But I don't know. It's going to...
It could come down to Monday night. We might need Herbert to get him some points.
I'm going to pick a tie.
Tie. Okay. Wow. There we have it.
It's going to be 85 to 85.
Nice. Okay. All right.
Spaghetti. I don't know. Waddle. 2 points. I like obviously last week we shit on the combination of the Tennessee Titans boys.
Yeah.
I think the Buccaneers boys are obviously the way better combo
yes.
to have. And A.J. Brown, love him. Zombie's got questionable players also. The path to Slaps and Tyler making the playoffs together starts here where these two teams tie.
Oh, okay. Does that help them though? If they both tie?
I think Tyler and
I don't think that really. Yeah.
If Tyler and Slaps win
but they'd both be 6-6, and both these teams would be 6-5-1, still ahead of them. I
But
think
if you
it's
win
better if one of them wins. That way, it drops one of them to the same record as
We'll see.
Slaps and Tyler. All right.
When did common sense ever make
Poop?
sense for Rat?
Well, he's a Trump
Pusa,
supporter,
buddy,
so.
if there's ever a time the league needs a win from you, it is
Oh,
this week.
okay. Zombie
Need
hate
to
week.
put
Huh?
Zombie into fantasy depression, fighting for his life the final 2 weeks. If you lose here, we will all shit on you, rightfully.
Okay, interesting. Although I would like to see Zombie miss the playoffs, I will be rooting for Zombie because of my bet with Pusa. All right, Tyler. Who do you think's gonna win?
It's a close matchup. Zombie's involved. You have to pick Zombie. He has that
Mm.
black magic fantasy luck. He's going to be down a lot going into Monday night. Going to be looking bad late. The Chargers will make a comeback, force overtime. His kicker will hit 2 field goals in overtime, and he will win by like 4.
Hmm.
That's
Wow.
how it's going to go.
Interesting. Okay. Out of these two teams, who do you want to lose that you think you have a better chance of passing?
Definitely Zombies. Team worse.
Yeah, I would agree. Okay. Interesting. All right, Pusa, are you gonna pull out of luck of the Irish type of performance win this week against Zombie?
Yes, I am, and I think it's going to be very, very close. I think I got a couple bad players, obviously, with Legit.
Mm-hmm.
Don't really want to start him.
Okay.
Have to. But I think it's going to be a 3-point victory.
3-point victory. Okay. Interesting. All right, Pusa, just out of curiosity, if you lose this week to Zombie, are you worried then going to make the
No, I'm
playoffs?
not at
No?
all. I play, to finish the year, I play Slaps and Bill.
I mean, Slaps
So-
hasn't been a pushover, so.
No, but yeah, he's not a pushover, but I would have my boy Chase back. I'd have Adams back. I wouldn't put out a lineup like this shit show. lineup.
Well,
Okay. All right, interesting. All right, there we have the Week 12 matchups.